As if the current-day controversies of the former president were not enough, we begin with new insight tonight into how Donald Trump may have avoided accountability in the investigation that consumed much of his presidency. Late today, after a lengthy court fight, the Justice Department released a document related to the Russia investigation. The memo was top secret, and now we know why former Attorney General Bill Barr wanted to keep it a secret. In March 2019, Bill Barr told us before the Mueller report was released that the report had all but exonerated the former president, and therefore there was no reason to charge him. But the memo essentially lays out Barr's defense of that decision. The memo contends Mueller's report did not establish a case to charge Trump with obstruction and failed to establish any underlying crime related to Russian election interference. But as NBC has reported, Mueller's report actually did identify 10 episodes that could be considered potential obstruction of justice. And as one former Mueller prosecutor points out, that's just what a couple of high-level Justice Department officials were worried about.
Two senior staff say to Bill Barr that the reason he should make the decision is because if the memo comes out, it might be read to imply that the president committed obstruction. This memo makes it clear that the reason that Bill Barr did not ask Robert Mueller to simply come to a conclusion is because, as it says here, the report can be read to find that indeed he did commit obstruction.
As for the ongoing investigations into the former president, tonight the Justice Department is facing a deadline related to the search warrant for Trump's Florida home. Prosecutors have until noon tomorrow to give a judge suggested redactions to the warrant's affidavit. Today at the White House, President Biden was asked about the search.
Mr. President, how much advance notice did you have of the FBI's plan to search Mar-a-Lago?
I didn't have any advance notice. None. Zero. Not one single bit. Thank you.
Turns out efforts to retrieve presidential records from Trump have been well underway even before he left office. The Washington Post says the National Archives was asking for presidential documents during the final days of his term, after one of Trump's own lawyers agreed they should be returned. One of the reporters on that story is going to join us in just a moment. Meanwhile, NBC News reports top intelligence officials do not appear to have launched a formal damage assessment relating to classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. There were also signs the former president is increasingly upset over the FBI seizure of those records. Rolling Stone reports he's been pushing his lawyers to, quote, get my top secret documents back. One prominent constitutional lawyer had a no-holds-barred response to that.
These documents belong to the executive branch. They belong to the United States of America. And Donald Trump can't assert an executive branch privilege as a former president against the current executive branch. Trump took them. He stole them, in effect.
One Washington Post columnist says Trump's determination to cling to classified documents could create his biggest legal headache yet. In an op-ed titled Behind Trump's Campaign of Delay and Defiance at Mar-a-Lago, David Ignatius writes that Trump is now like King Lear in angry exile. But he adds Trump's notion of supreme personal power, his document narcissism, might have caught up with him in the Mar-a-Lago search. Ignatius ends with a suggested solution to this controversy. He writes, stop denigrating the rule of law. Respect it.